Hi guys, just a moment, let me check if I'm audible. Okay, hi guys. Yesterday we won in the FIDE online Olympiad, and it was a great achievement because for the first time ever India won a gold medal in the Olympiad. So it's a huge achievement and a huge feat. So on Unacademy we are going to celebrate this whole week with the very same spirit, and we are going to see the games that have been played in the Olympiad by the Indian team. So I'll just wait for you guys to join for a moment. Just a moment. Let me see if all right. So we are going to have a look at two games, and both of them have been played by the top female players of India, Harika Dronavli and Koneru Humpy. So let's start with Humpy's game first. And till then, till people come, I'll just tell you about the Unacademy chess subscription. So guys, you can get the first month at just ₹99, and you can learn from legends like Anand, Kramnik and all the top coaches. So do subscribe if you haven't already, and you can use my code Pranali16. So just apply the code Pranali16 and you will get the first month at just ₹99 instead of 1500. Okay, so I'll just start with the games. So this was played between Koneru Humpy, India #1 in female. Hello Suchir. And Gevorgyan Irina, she is from Uzbekistan. So this was between India versus Uzbekistan, and it was a really nice game. It was a quick win by Humpy. So d4 d5, c4 c6. So we have the Slav, knight f3 e6, knight f6, e3, knight f6. So usually when e3 is played, this bishop can become a problem. So b3 is played and the bishop is developed from here, because in most cases we wonder that what to do with the bishop if it's locked inside. But you play b3 and then bishop b2. Hello Adarsh, good evening. Knight bd2, knight bd7, bishop d3, bishop d6, castles. So it may look as if it's like black is repeating white's moves, but the main important difference here is, first of all, white's pawn is on c4 and black's pawn is on c6. So already white is a move up, and additionally another move up with c4. So just a small intricacy, but I'm just telling you. And now we take a break with e4. So d e4, knight into e4, knight into e4, bishop into e4. And can you tell me what is the weakest point in black's position right now? I hope I'm audible, guys, and there is no lag. Hello Shan. So can you tell me which is the weakest point? Yes, you are right. Only chess, you are right. So h7 is going to be the main point of attack, because knight will have to get here. But regardless, the bishop is really strong, and this bishop cannot really come out. So black's plan would be to play something like this, knight f6, and quickly exchange the bishop like this. So it's a typical attack, a typical plan of exchanging the bishops, because the attack on h7 will be really strong. So h6 was played, and I think this was slightly wrong, playing this here, because you shouldn't necessarily push pawns on the side you've castled. Only if it's an emergency, then you should. And also, like, after you've done developing all the pieces, and maybe you have to do a waiting move, like you have to get rid of the back rank, then you should play a move like h6 or h3. Otherwise, this move can be a weak move, because there can be some sacrifices here and there is no piece guarding here. So can you tell me what white should play here and what Humpy played here? It's a typical move again, and now we already know what the weak point is, so try to attack that. This is the weakness, because even though Irina has pushed the pawn, this square is still weak. There is no pawn here, but the square is still weak. Others, you're right, you are planning to attack. This was played in India versus Uzbekistan in the FIDE online Olympiad. So, okay. Only just knight j5 is interesting, but right now it won't work because you don't have enough pieces looking here, and knight f6 is still possible. Okay, Kiran says bishop c2. Kiran, you are right. I think the typical move here is bishop c2 and queen d3. But okay, let's check other moves. Others, bishop into h6 is too soon. Like, it is possible it's too soon, because you need the queen here somewhere if you want to capture here. Knight g5, yes Kiran, I'm coming to bishop c2, but knight g5 I'll just take. If you play queen here, I'll just play this move, or even knight f6 maybe, because I'm attacking the queen. So even if you take here with the bishop, for instance this move, I'll just capture, and even if you capture, you will be a piece down, like 2 pieces down. So that is the problem here. Otherwise, knight g5 is an interesting move, but it's not possible right now. So bishop c2 is correct. So always remember, guys, that whenever you can have the possibility of this battery with bishop and queen, go for it, because it is very strong. Queen continuously attacks here, and he has to keep a knight on f8 or f6, or further weaken the position with g6 or f5. So it's a threat, a serious threat, because you're threatening a mate after queen d3. And Irina played e5 here, which I don't really like, because but I think her plan was again the same, bishop g4 and exchange the bishop, but right now it's not correct. Can you tell me why this plan could not be correct? The bishop. Sorry for the lag, guys. Is it still lagging? I hope it's not. Okay, so e5 was played, and just imagine this bishop was on g6. So what is the problem? Like, what is the difference when the pawn was here and the pawn is here? Hello Suchir. Is it fine now, the lag? Just say a yes if it is fine. Okay, Pratik says queen d2. Alright. Okay, another difference here is that black will have to capture from this pawn and not this pawn. So usually you should capture towards the center, and fg6 would open the rook, but it is a lot of weakness, and later on in the end game This is not a good structure to have because it cannot really promote to a queen, or it is not something that you can get a passed pawn from. So b3, again, as I mentioned earlier, the bishop wants to go here, and these two bishops will take care of everything. All the attack will automatically come. So e into d4. I think again this was a mistake because the bishops will be super active if the diagonals are opened up, and probably she should have not played this move first of all, and knight f6 was better. So I'll just go back. Here knight f6 would have been much better, like the typical Tarrasch structure. It is reverse Tarrasch, and this would have been perfectly normal. Like this is what black does with d5 and c5 structure. So, but here lot of weaknesses are there. E into d4 and queen into d4 was played. So can you see something that is happening right now? Like there are many threats. So one is this obviously, but can you tell me other threats that are possible in this position? Because of the bishops, I mean, they are really strong. Okay, I'll just tell you. Firstly, the bishop can go here, the rook can come here, or even this rook. Depends if this rook wants to go here. Knight can jump here on f5, a strong square where it will attack g7, or the bishop can go here, rook d1, and queen e4, queen d3. So it's very easy for white to play here because the position is open and the pieces are really active. While as if you compare black's pieces, this bishop is not really doing much and it's difficult to get it in the game. Rook can come, but it's not really helping. You need the bishop to defend these weaknesses here, and the knight can come here, but again the d file will be really weak with the queen on d8. So that is the problem here with black, that it's very easy for white to win this game, or even to place his pieces in position where it will be really threatening for black. You're right, bishop c2 and okay, bishop b2 also. You're right, bishop c2, bishop b2, and then queen d4 or queen d3 will be a battery. You're right, both of you. And now bishop c5 was played. So where to move the queen? One can be this square and one can be this square. This is also a move, but after knight f6 you will lose a tempo. So if you play this, I'll just play this. I'm protecting against this mate. I'm attacking the queen, and now I got that one tempo that I require to develop the bishop. So next move I'll quickly play this move and try to get it here, so that I don't have any attack. White won't have any attacking prospects. So which is the correct square for the queen? One can be this, one can be this. Both are correct in some way, but which is more correct, and which is the move that won't give any tempo? Alright, hello Sudhakar. Okay, queen d3. Adarsh, queen d3 can be played, but the problem again remains the same, that I'll play knight f6, and now you're again losing a tempo because you don't want to exchange the queens since you're attacking. It is a good thing to remember to not exchange queens when you're attacking, because that kind of gives your opponent some relief. So again you have to move the queen and he will move the bishop. So that's why queen c3 is correct. So even if black plays this, you can do something like rook d1 or bishop f4 or bishop b2. So you are not losing a tempo. Yes, Shan. Yes, Akshay, you're right. Yes, Adarsh, queen c3 is the move. But for queen c3, black still didn't play knight f6, and knight f6 would have been more correct, because obviously white wants to attack, and if you don't defend right now, and if you don't develop this bishop, then it will be really difficult. But I think she misjudged the position, and also in the rapid games it's slightly difficult to remember all the basics. Like even if you're playing the Olympiad, sometimes it happens that you just want to play, like, okay, you're confused whether you should develop the rook or whether you should develop the knight. But here, by developing the knight, you're also developing the bishop, so 6 points you're activating. But here you're just activating 5 points, so that could be one small difference. And I think rook e8 was played so that she can go knight f8 or bishop f8 to guard against this g7 square. But I think rook e8 was wrong. And what should be the move here? Okay, Kiran says queen f6. Queen f6 can be played, Kiran, but the problem is I'll still go bishop b2, and then when you take, I'm not sure if you can play this move because of h6. It's already too much weakness if I capture here. So that is one reason. Okay, so rook e8, and you mean bishop into h6, right? I think so. Ujan, it's a good move. Like, it's a very nice idea because like, you're exposing the king completely. There won't be any shelter. It can be played, but the problem is you don't have enough pieces right now. Even after queen d3, there will be still like a knight f8 or knight f6, and there'll be attack on this queen. So you need a few more pieces. Like right now, if my knight could hop on to f5 very quickly, then this would have worked definitely, because h6 is hanging, g7 is under threat, queen can come to g3. So with knight on h4 or with knight on f5, it would have worked because I would have different checks, and I think only then it was possible. Right now there are not enough pieces on this side. They are all looking towards that side, but they are not present here. So that is why maybe sacrificing is too early, slightly premature. And now what should be white's move here? I'll just have a sip of water till then. Yes, Shan, you are right. So there is a rule in chess that you need more than 2 pieces when you're attacking, and if you don't have 2 pieces on the side, like even if you have 2 pieces, then it's not sufficient. You need more than that. So it can be any combination, like it can be a pawn and bishop and a queen, or like a rook, bishop and a pawn. So it can be any combination, but there is one exception, that is the knight and queen. So if you have knight and queen and you're attacking, it can be successful because knight is a very different piece. Sudhakar, bishop into h6 is not possible because takes and you don't have enough pieces. Okay, so most of you are saying rook d1. I must say rook d1 is a good move, but there is something more forcing here, and you're going to play rook d1, but maybe on the next move, and you don't know which rook to get to d1 yet. So it can be it can be this rook or this rook, because this rook won't have an open file. So you bring this rook first on this open file, and this rook belongs to e1 open file. Since there are just 2 open files on the board, so it's kind of logical here to get this rook here on d1 and control this, and then rook f1 to e1 and control this e file, because you're not wasting any moves with the rooks. Yes, it's tricky. You just play simply bishop b2. So you might wonder that, but you can just play knight f6, right? But there is something that is that Humpy calculated, and that is why she played this. And here Irina could have played knight f8, knight f6, not knight f8, or bishop f8 to guard against this. But for bishop f8, the problem is that now I'll get rook a d1. So I'll put some pressure here too, with bishop f5 coming, knight e5. So there's going to be a pin here and a lot of attack on d7. Yes, Sudhakar, you're right, bishop b2. That's why bishop f8 was not played, I guess. And the move that was played was knight f6, so that there is no threat here. And now can you tell me what the move should be? This is something you all suggested in some way. So Akshay, knight h4 was not possible because knight was hanging like with the queen. Just a moment, guys. So knight h4, this can happen. This is hanging with the queen. Bishop b2, knight f6. And what should be played? So can you tell me? Okay, I'll tell you. Black's idea here is to develop this quickly. Play queen c7 and then rook d8. So this is what black is planning to do. So you have to defend against that. You have to prevent any freeing moves by your opponent, and you have to keep constantly giving some threats. Yes, Sudhakar, yes, Shan, you're right. Rook a d1. So you're constantly giving a threat, and I'm not sure if all of you attended, but we saw one of Tal's games, Mikhail Tal, in the previous YouTube session, and we saw that, for every move he would have like a threat. He would never let his opponent have any breathing space. So he would completely restrict like all the moves. Yes, you're right. We have to threaten the queen. So when the queen moves, we know what exactly we should do. If it moves to this side, then we can even go rook e1, exchange and destroy this defender. So as we all know that there is king side and queen side. So this is the queen side, a8, d8, d1, a1, and this is the queen side, h8, e8, e1 and h1. So right now we can count like knight, rook, and there are 3 pawns that are guarding the king and even the queen. So you should try to exchange as many, and even though there are not many pieces, your own pieces on this side, all your pieces are looking towards this side. So this is one thing that you can evaluate your position on during the game. So queen e7 was bad on account of this move. Queen c7 was played, and can you tell me what Humpy played? Humpy played something, and after which her opponent resigned. Just plain resigned. And it's just been 16 moves. So on the 17th move, Humpy won. It is a silent killer, guys. Only chess h3 is slightly slow, even though I understood that your plan was to prevent bishop g4. But I think even when it comes to prevention, you prevent your opponent's moves in a very active way possible. Like you suddenly got 5 points in the game after rook a d1. Only chess rook e1, okay. But rook e1 is not something for which your opponent will resign, right? Okay, b4 can be one move. You're threatening, I agree, you're threatening. But there is a straight win, like there's no defense and opponent resigns. Is there anything like that? Shan says queen f6. Okay, it is something to do with the queen, but you don't have to sacrifice it this time. Okay, so b4 could be really interesting because I agree you are threatening the bishop, but the point is you don't want the bishop to be here because it will guard this pawn. You want the bishop to be away from the king side. Okay, Vijeta says bishop h7. Vijeta, bishop h7, the idea I understood that knight h7, then you can capture here, but he'll just capture with the king. I mean, black will just capture with the king here. Yes, so finally we have the move. Sudhakar, you are right. Queen d3 is the move. And now can you spot the threat why Irina resigned here? There is some serious threat. Which cannot be defended. So as I mentioned earlier, the battery is really important, and the weakest square in black's position is going to be this square. Yeah, and also you're attacking this f6 knight. So soon, if he, for instance, if black plays something like bishop g4 and completely ignores this threat, you can take here, takes, and queen h7 is the problem. So this move, and then rook e1 can be there, like this king e7, or you can just play this move. I think this is just better because now you have a forced mate after rook e1. So he can take, and bishop e6, but you will win the rook and soon the game. So that's why queen d3 wins the game for white. And that is why it was such an interesting game, because just 16 moves and 17th move is queen d3 and your opponent resigns. So a beautiful game by Humpy. Any questions about this, guys? Do you have any doubts? Well, rook e1 could have been possible. I don't disagree. But again, you are giving me this move. So even if I exchange this and maybe you will just take here, this takes here. It can be possible, but I think what she played was much more clear because you're not giving any freeing move. It's like a forced thing that is happening after queen d3. Okay guys, so now we'll watch Harika's game. So she played against Sarvinoz Kurbonboeva, and she was black. Yes, Sudhakar, it was a very beautiful game. Okay, so this was played between Kurbonboeva Sarvinoz and Harika Donavli. Again, Uzbekistan versus India. So Harika is black, so that's why I flipped the board. And the opening part is pretty normal, it's theory, but I want you to make some forcing moves later on, and I'll ask you a few questions about certain moves so you can write them in the chat. Okay, d4 d5, c4 e6, knight c3, bishop b4, cd5, ed5, and we have the queen's gambit, Ragozin. Knight f3, knight f6, bishop g5, h6, bishop into f6, queen into f6. Again, this is all theory, like knight c6, knight e5, castles, knight into c6, and now bishop into c3, b into c3, b into c6. So there are many plans here. Firstly, this is going to be one thing, to attack here, queen g6, and have some control on this square. Sorry guys. So I have some control on c2 also. Then even though you ruined the pawn structure a bit here, there's a double pawn here, but you go rook b8 and rook b2. So that is one plan. So this rook goes to e8, controlling this file. This goes to b8 and then b2. The queen sometimes stays here, or it goes to g6 in order to prevent castling. The bishop moves to f5 and e4, or I'll just do the bishop and queen move so that there are not too many arrows. So if e3 is played, then if the bishop is on f5, then you can go something like bishop d3 and exchange. So that is one possibility. And for white, the pawn structure is better, but it will take some time for him to attack all of this pawn mass here. And he will also try to play rook b1. He will try to play e3 or g3, develop the bishop on d3 or g2, and then castle. And he'll try to break this. If the bishop is here, he'll try to break with c4. I hope I am clear and not too confusing. Okay, so e3 was played, and can you tell me what should be black's move here? Since I've explained you so many things can be played. So what is white planning to do after e3? And how do you prevent that in any way? Like, you can write down in the chat, guys, what is white's plan here firstly, and how do you prevent it with black? It is black to move. White has just played e3. Okay, rook e8 is one move, but what is white's plan? Like, what is white trying to do here? And then you decide how to prevent it. Rook e8 is one possible move, but this is one game about restriction. So restricting any freeing activity by your opponent. Okay, I'll tell you. So white's plan here is to play bishop e2 or bishop d3. So these are the two moves that he's going to play, so that white can castle and then have f3, e4 break or c4 break. So Sarvinoz wants to just break this pawn mass here so that there's some space, and also she can take some advantage of these two pawns here. Okay, Sudhakar, you're right. Bishop f5 was one move that was possible because it prevents this, and it is slightly better than rook e8, but the best move here is queen g6. As I mentioned, you just make sure that the bishop cannot leave the square on f1, because even if she plays something like this, you just capture, and there is no threat here with the rook because the queen is on the other side of the board, so there's no mating attack here, so you can capture on g2, and that is why you play queen g6. So you prevent any activity with the bishop, and that is why it's slightly more correct. So whenever you have too many options, try to restrict. So you see that, okay, your idea with bishop f5, I understand it is to prevent bishop d3, but it is not just bishop d3 that she can go to. She can even play bishop e2. So that's why this is more correct. Okay, so queen g6, and now rook c1 was played. So now it's very clear that white wants to break this and have some attack here. It is very clear, very evident with this move, because she couldn't go to b1. This queen controls the square. There could be some threat of queen c2 later on. Right now there's a queen here, but to prevent that, white played rook c1 and also to play c4. Am I clear, guys? And now since the rook has already moved to c1, what should black do? Yes, Prabhas, you're right. The idea was to develop the bishop and you prevented it. So there are two moves which are really nice, but how can you keep options, and how can you give more options to your opponent? Because whenever you give more options to your opponent, sometimes it's very beneficial, because he's confused, like he or she is confused as to what to play. Like, yes, Prabhas, you're right. Okay, so rook b8 was played. It's slightly difficult, but the idea is very clear. You are first of all tempting white to play queen into a7 and capture here. So the queen will be really outside from where the main action is taking place. Secondly, the threat is to play rook b1. So you want to exchange and penetrate into opponent's camp with rook b1. Other plan is that you're not really scared of this move firstly, and here you could have played this move, but the point is that even on bishop f5 I can still play c4, but after rook b8 c4 becomes slightly difficult because of this move. And so this can be under attack. This rook is not really doing much, but it can be under some attack later on. And even the rook controls c file, you're just challenging it and you want to exchange it. So that is the plan, and that is what happened in the game. White played c4, and I don't know if white can do anything else. It is already very restricting for white because queen c2 cannot be played. Takes and you just play this, and if this goes here you play this move. So a lot of problems, like c4 can be played, but you just take here. So a lot of problems, and rook c1, then you can take, and the game will go in an endgame. But queen c2, you can even play this move, to be honest. So you have already restricted the opponent a lot, and you further restrict him by playing rook b1. And now queen d1 was played. So can you spot the move here, guys? It is a good move with black. I hope the games are not too tough because they were amazingly played, and positionally it was really nice. Like in this game it was like almost Harika just crushed the opponent. It was without a fight, this game. Kurbonboeva, Sarvinoz couldn't do anything. Not even a single check to the black king in the whole game. Can you suggest the move, guys? Black to play. Just try to give a threat here and develop the pieces. So can you attack something and gain a tempo, or develop a piece by attacking something and get a tempo? Okay, alright. Here there are two pieces that you can develop. So is there a move that... Okay, Sudhakar, you got it right. Bishop g4 is the move. And as I was saying, there are just two pieces, but you should go for the move that is more threatening, and it is directly giving a threat. So bishop g4 is the move. Tanmay Phatak, you're right. Seema, you also are right. Shan, bishop f5 would be interesting, but again, it's not threatening. You will just end up exchanging a lot of pieces, and you don't want that because your pawn structure is not that great for exchanges. Because if this game goes in an endgame, then white is slightly better because he has some entry and a7 is really weak. So yes, bishop g4 is correct. Ujan, you too. Bishop f8, rook e1. Ujan, I think you mean rook e8, but rook e8 you are losing the piece here. Like this is under attack. So that is why it's not possible. Tapanna, you are right. Yes, Vijeta, you are also right. Ujan, bishop f5, again the same problem that I told to Shan. You will end up exchanging a lot of pieces. Bishop g4 is correct. It is a really good move, and it is slightly difficult to see, but it's really nice. And now f3 was played. So now can you tell me what should be played? And there's a reason why rook e8 was slightly wrong, like apart from this being captured. With bishop g4 there are different ideas. Like, can you spot the idea? There's another idea here. There's this piece that is under attack, and there's this rook that needs to be developed. So can you do something about these two things together? This is again a silent move. Sudhakar, you're right. Rook f8 was played. So basically, in a way, you are preventing this move because takes, and then you have this threat. So the queen supports this rook, and again you win the queen. Yes, Seema, you're right. Bishop f5, it's possible, but again you're exchanging pieces and you don't want that. So that is why she played bishop g4, so she could play rook fb8. That was the main intention behind bishop g4. Other move could be to, like, if she didn't have bishop g4, she would probably play rook b2, so that with the threat of bishop g4, and she wants to save this rook because it's a good rook. Okay, bishop g4, f3, rook fb8. And now Sarvinoz played king f2. I think she was really like scared about this threat. So she played king f2. And can you tell me what should be the move? As a general principle, which rook should she bring to b2? You have two options, but which is more in the spirit of the game? Which rook? Suchir, you are right, rook b8. Prabhas, again, we don't want to exchange pieces. That's the only reason. Otherwise, no problem with bishop f5. Yes, only chess, rook b2, but rook 1 b2 or rook 8 b2. You have two options. Which is more in the spirit of the game? Yeah, both the rooks are on b file, but rook 1 b2 or rook 8 b2. Okay, so everyone is saying rook b2. All right, so you definitely get the rook on b to b2, but which rook? Okay, only chess says rook 8. You are right. Why? Because in chess there is a famous principle that you should try to get your rooks to the 7th and 8th ranks. For black, it is technically 7th and 8th rank. This is the first rank for black. So even though this says differently, but this is the 7th and 8th rank. So if you have the choice, make sure that both the rooks are on 7th and 8th ranks. Yes, Prabhas, you're right. Rook f8 was played, but yes, you're right. Rook on b8 to b2. You are right. It is more in the spirit of the game because now rook c2 cannot be played. You are still making sure there is a pin here, and there will be a pin here after bishop e2. So your pieces are very active. Bishop e2 was played, and now finally we play bishop f5. So now we are okay capturing the or exchanging the rooks because this is hanging right now, but we are okay exchanging any rook here because both our rooks are pretty active. And if you compare, let me just show you. If you compare the position here and if you compare this position, so obviously you will realize that lot has happened and white cannot castle because the king has moved, and it's not very easy to get out of this pin. So rook e1 was played in order to prevent any move like bishop d3. Here the threat was to play bishop d3, guys. So you're attacking here with the bishop and the rook. So already you are threatening a lot of things. Rook e1 and rook into c1, queen into c1. And can you tell me what is a very threatening move here in this position? Just give a threat. There are two moves possible, but try to use the general concepts in chess, like the rook on 7th rank, maintain that, and Okay, so there are two moves. One is rook c2 and one is rook b1. So you play rook c2 because you still want to keep this option. Prabhas, I think you are lagging behind in the video. That is why you are suggesting all the moves slightly late, but you are correct. Okay, only chess and Seema think rook b1. Rook b1 is a good move. It's not a bad move, but the point is that you are letting the queen escape and you don't really have this bishop d3 threat anymore, and you might have to exchange the rooks. But with rook c2, the point is that the queen has to stay nearby this bishop. So again, this is like renewing the threat of bishop d3. Queen has to go to d1 or a3, so that d3 square is under control. So from d1 as well as a3, d3 was under control. And the other thing is that white cannot play king g1. If she manages to play king g1, then she can be fine, because it will be like an artificial castling. If you see, if the king goes here, for instance, I play some random move here like this, and king goes here, then it's like artificial castling. So the king is safe, and this pawn is hanging right now, but queen a3 was played in the game. So this was played, and now what do you think should be the move? I mentioned something, but queen a3, does queen a3 actually prevent that? Ashwin, rook b1, again the pieces might get exchanged, and you want to make sure that the rook stays on the 7th rank to attack e2. That's why you play rook c2. Sudhakar, I think you meant rook c2, you're right. Ujjan, you're right. Bishop d3, you're right. So even after queen e3, this is not really prevented, and you continue to attack on e2. So Cheer, you're right. So there is no king g1 possible, because you'll just capture the piece, and even after king f1, you can at least win this g2 pawn. So that's why Kurbonboeva Sarvinoz played queen into a7. Now you have two choices. One is you can quickly exchange, and for example, you can exchange and win this pawn and maybe another pawn, like another 2 pawns. But should you go in a queen endgame, or should you keep the pressure with bishop into c4? So there are two options possible. Which is more correct? Bishop d3 is correct, but right now bishop into c4 is more correct, or bishop into e2 is more correct. You have two options, this or this. Hello Sanskriti. Yes, okay, so right now bishop into c4 is more correct. Why? Because whenever the game goes in a queen endgame, there's always some chance of perpetual, and it is always better to keep tension on board, because you might win this, but it is slightly risky, especially in the rapid games, because there can be very few chances of winning basically. So even if you win this pawn, this is going to be really complicated to win. Yes, you're right, Sanskriti. You have this a passer, you're right. And also it will be like even if you get the a2 pawn, it will be still very difficult, really difficult. So that's why I keep tension, play bishop into c4. It's more simple. And now even if you capture here, like even if white captures, then you have this threat of queen d3 again. So that is another threat that is coming up. So that is slightly difficult to see that this move can come. And white played queen a3. Hello Saina. Yes, bishop c4 is correct. Sorry guys, I think there's some issue. I'm getting all your messages slightly late. Sanskriti, you are absolutely right, which that can create a lot of complications. Yeah, you're right. So now what should be black's move here? There's something that is winning the game in a few moves, say around 3 moves. Yes, rook into a2 is correct, Ashwin. So again, you're threatening the queen and you're keeping the pressure. You're not going behind this pawn. That's great, Vishnu Sai. And now queen c3. So now Harika made a really nice move, and it is a very deep move to see. So I would like you to take a minute and calculate what black can do here. Okay, rook a2, you are correct. Correct, all of you guys, rook into a2 is correct. But after queen c3, what to do? Okay, rook c2 is one possibility. But think deeper. Which piece is not really working in the game? There's one piece which is active, but it is not actively participating in this attack of this. You're right, queen is the piece. Queen d3 and queen c2 are the moves that are possible. Seema and Saina, you are right. Even Vishnu Sai. But we don't want to exchange. We are refraining from exchanging pieces because takes, and king f1 takes. Okay, this is winning, but still we don't want to go in an endgame. There's something which is more clear. Okay, Anupriya says queen f6. Anupriya, your idea is right. This queen needs to be on a good square, but where? Queen d3 is one possibility, but you don't want to exchange the queens. You want to keep the pressure. So right now, if you see, the queen can no longer protect this. The rook is restricting it, the bishop is restricting it. So if there could be one more piece which attacks this, then you will just win the game. So how can you get one more piece to attack this square here without any exchanges? Ashwin, queen f6 and queen g5 again is a good move considering you want to improve the queen's position, but you have to attack on e2. Like, that is the main thing that you should do right now with the queen. Can you attack? Is there a way to attack e2 with the queen apart from queen d3 and queen c2? Yes, only chess. You are right. So Harika played c5, clearing the route for the queen to b6 or a6. Yes. So now after queen a6, you would suddenly realize this bishop cannot be protected with the queen. So it will just have two supporters. And we will have this queen, this bishop and the rook attacking this. So 3 versus 2 and 3 attackers, 2 defenders. So you win the piece. And this queen can no longer protect it. So she might play something like queen c1 and try to guard this, but then you can just take. Or you can play this move, I think. Yeah, this is the move because queen d1, then you can take. Takes and then you just take. So there is no way of protecting this e2 square now. So that is why c5 was really important. Suchir, queen to b2 is not possible. I think you mean queen to c2, but again, we exchange. So that's why. Queen to this. Suchir, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the move. Ashrita, you're right. C5 was the move played. You're right. Here, you might be wondering what happens if I take, and again, this same thing. But even if you win a ton of pawns, I think in rapid it is always good to go for the main thing. Like if you're getting a piece, go for the piece. Queen to b2 when Suchir, because queen on g6 cannot reach b2. It's not possible. But yes, I think you mean c5, queen b6 and queen b2. That is possible. Yes, you're right. So idea here is to just go queen a6, and if queen c1 is played, then don't go queen a6 because then she will have this move. Then you go queen d3. So you're already winning a piece in this position, and it looks unbelievable that you're directly winning a piece. But Harika saw this, and that's why she probably played rook c2 and rook into a2 to force matters. And now d into c5 was played by Sarvinoz, but she didn't realize like what's happening. And white won when black won after queen a6. White just resigned. Okay, Suchir has a question. Okay, let's go back. Queen b1. It may not work right now because you just have bishop. You just have bishop for queen. That's the problem. Saina, if queen c1, then c5, queen c1, then you play queen d3. I hope I'm clear. So you're attacking this with 3 pieces. 1, 2 and 3. And he cannot protect it because it may look as if queen d1 is possible, but it's not, because you just capture here, takes, this is a pin, this is a pin here, so takes, and then you just take, so you win. Yes, okay, great. Yes guys, all of you were correct. Queen a6 is correct. Okay, so that is why I showed you this game, because it shows how Sarvinoz couldn't even give one check or one threat to black in the whole game. So it was like Harika completely crushed Sarvinoz without any counter attack or without any play. So she just outplayed the opponent, and that is why she is number 2, and that is how we got through to the finals, and that is how we won the Olympiad. So it is a great thing and a huge achievement because it happened for the first time ever. And I was literally glued to the screen yesterday, like from 4:30, even because of that whole controversy that happened with Cloudflare and everything. But the end result was great. So this was these were the 2 games that I really liked, and I'll be coming up with more such games. And the next week, this whole week is going to be a celebration of the Indian team winning the FIDE Online Olympiad. So stay tuned, guys. Vishnu Sai, my rating is 2243 and my peak rating is 2275. Yes, Saina, that was really a nail-biting match. Yeah, exactly, Ashwin. There is not a major blunder that White made, yet she lost. So I think the blunder was king f2, or maybe this rook c1 move that was slightly passive, but even I'm not sure what was the clear blunder. But I think king f2, and then maybe something here she could have done something better, like maybe queen d2, and I'm not sure, to be honest, because Harika just, I think in the opening there was some move order that got wrong for White. So probably it's that. Rook b8, king f2 here, not this rook, this rook, this, and you play bishop f5. So literally every move was a threat, right? In the whole game, you cannot capture here. The whole game, it was suffocating for white, and you should learn to play like that, because that way it's really nice to play. It's fun to play when you know that your opponent has no moves left. So Ashwin, I completely agree that even I don't know where white actually went wrong. I think maybe it can be somewhere here in the end, towards the end. Maybe after queen into a7 could be called a mistake here. Maybe something like king f1, or maybe king f1 was more correct, or maybe something like queen e7. Yeah. Thank you, Sudhakar. Yes, Saina, I agree. Amazing play, amazing games played by the team. Yes, aggressive. Okay, good luck, guys. And let me just quickly show you about the subscription, because till 5th of September there's a wonderful offer going on Unacademy. So I'll just show you that. So just log on to unacademy.com, and then you will have this. You can just go to master your chess strategies. Then make sure there's chess here in the goal, and you can click on get subscription. But let me tell you who all are the coaches, so you can just see the coaches here, and all the classes are live. There are a few free live classes that you can see. Then Anand is going to be teaching, even Kramnik sir, and there are so many coaches. So do subscribe if you haven't already, and all the lessons are going to be interactive, so you can ask any doubts if you have any doubts. The courses are going to be structured according to the rating. So from 5th of September there'll be like a batch starting, as you can see here. So you just go on get subscription, and then you click on 1 month or whatever you feel. You have 5 options. And the point with first month is that till 5th of September you can get the first month at just ₹99 instead of 1500. So just type PARNALI and 16, so Parnali 16, apply it, and you will see the price reduces to just ₹99. So go for it, guys. And in any other options you can get a 10% discount. So go for it, guys. And if you like the video, do share and subscribe to Unacademy Chess India, and stay tuned for more such content. Thank you, Saina. Good luck, guys. Take care. Stay safe.